like a dude, but I took it to the next level.
By just ripping his name off and then using it?
Yeah. They just had the one song. They were done after that.
What's up, Larry Adams?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they started hip hop.
Yeah, that's debatable.
Who started hip hop?
It wasn't them.
Are you sure?
What, Kool and the Gang?
No, Kool and the Gang didn't start rap.
They were pretty.
Who started rap then? Because they did. I mean,
Curtis
Delight was
Blow.
Rapper's Delight. Curtis Blow.
Curtis Blow and Africa Bombay. See, I threw some new shit on your ass.
Man, now you're just making shit up.
They used to dress up. They were like the village people. I'm serious.
But African village people?
Well, they were rappers, but they would dress up. They had an Indian. They had all kind of shit up there.
Or were they from Oak Cliff? They just blatantly ripped other people off too?
They were from maybe Oakland no, they were New York. Africa Bombada.
No, Rapper's Delight was the first rap song because they were rapping about eating dinner. They hadn't even branched outside of it. They were still talking about
Chicken Tastes Like
Wood.
That was the crossover song.
From what?
Because African Bombada was like, they were hard.
I hate to tell you this.
They were like, da-da-da-da-da-da.
I hate to tell you this. You know who's actually credited with the first rap song?
Don't.
No. This will blow you away.
No.
Who?
Are we live now? Cause
No. Chip Davis.
Huh?
What the come on,
Convoy.
man. No dude named Chip started.
Convoy was Chip Davis?
Yeah.
Oh.
So Convoy, that's the record label I used to
No dude named Chip started rap.
Chip Davis started.
What's that?
According to Googly,
Oh,
first ever rap song was Rapper's Delight.
That's a conspiracy.
That's
No.
But if you listen to Convoy, Convoy was spoken
that's crossover. Word. That's crossover. I'm telling you.
Chip Davis. Rap is from Omaha, Nebraska.
What? Get the fuck out.
Rap was started in the 70s by a white German guy. Chip Davis.
Who also wore headdresses.
Which made him invisible.
Hang on. Don't say anything yet.
Hey,
we're going to talk about
we're going to go up to Nebraska and watch a game, and Chip still got guys. So we got to be very
10
cautious.
seconds. Everyone, hit share right now. Oh.
Yep. You're right,
2,
Jim Trader.
1. Cheers.
Bing.
Cheers to all of you. Take a sip. Get ready to fire it up. Hit that share button.
Hit it.
Because we have very important stuff going on. We've got Mike Hernandez coming in from greetings from Bakersfield, California.
Oh, greetings. Good. I guess, do we do Good Day Mate on the...
No, that's a Saturday only.
That's
right?
a Saturday only thing.
That's exclusive content.
We'll have to come up with some...
Hey, y'all.
That's what it is.
That's right.
It's Tuesday, and we're at the shop. And right now, we've got Mark Rogers wishing he was still in Colorado.
Boom.
Still in Colorado.
Boom.
Spent a week in Boulder. It was nice.
It was nice.
I think he smoked different cigars
on a little something
and was looking at the stars in total amazement, man.
Can't confirm or deny any of that.
It's beautiful.
I will tell you that 88 degrees and 15% humidity is perfect.
Yeah.
They think it's hot.
They think it's hot.
It's so hot.
I could get used to that.
You're so stupid.
I could get used to that. So, okay, we got JJ coming in. We got Mike Hernandez. We got Mark Meyer.
Mark Meyer.
We got Sasquatch, Jim Trader. And we got Ty.
Peace.
We got Tyrone Demery in the house. Oak Cliff's own.
Back in the day, 90s, maybe early 2000s. Peace in the Middle East, baby.
Go get in your gas line, man. You're way back in time.
All right.
Go get in the gas line.
So here's what's happening tonight. We have cigars. Pops knows what they are. I know what they are.
Yeah, they don't.
They have no idea. And we're going to smoke them and evaluate them. See if you know what they are. See if you like it.
Yeah, that's the main thing. It's just, I think there's so many newbies on here, or people that are going to smoke a cigar and give something a try. We're actually going to get a more nerdy version of what we're doing, and You can see these guys have attended the Cigar 101s in the past. They're doing pre-smokes, which Brandon didn't do. Or maybe you did before you connected.
No.
But
I smoked this.
But this is kind of you guys are going to watch us kind of evaluate. We're going to evaluate a cigar. We're just going to smoke a cigar and see if we like it. Because in the end, isn't that what we're doing every day?
Yes,
trying
sir.
cigars and seeing if we like them.
That's kind of
Yes,
our
sir.
world, right? Hopefully we're coming in nice and smooth here. It looks like my feed's looking good. If you guys have questions, feel free to chime in with them. My first question, I think, stems from our previous conversation, which is, who invented rap?
Well,
Chip Davis,
Chip,
Convoy, mid-70s.
God.
And it created the CB craze.
Chip
CB
Davis
radio,
did
crazy.
not create
Omaha,
rap.
Nebraska.
Listen
Says
to it.
this.
It was a spoken word song, and it was credited as the first
Well, why
spoken
don't we
word
just
song.
give the shit to Shakespeare then?
Because he didn't have no band behind him.
He had that damn violin or whatever that shit was.
Man,
Mandolin?
Yeah, mandolin.
Yeah.
See,
No, he
No,
wrote it. Shakespeare
you can't
wrote
be
about it
doing
in a book.
see, that's education. Mandolin.
I'm from
Man,
where
we-
rap is from. You didn't know that.
No,
Yes.
it's
I'm
not.
from Omaha,
Omaha
Nebraska.
is not where.
Home of
That's
rap.
where corn is from.
Home of rap.
Rap.
Home-
I
Corn.
think it says
Frank's got it. He said word. So he knows that we're right.
Word.
Word. Like
Well,
word to your mother. That came from Oak Cliff, I
yeah,
guarantee you
yeah,
that.
He's been out the game for a minute.
Yeah.
He said that.
Mark Myers. Mark's in the house. Mark says, come and listen to my story about a man named Dave.
God damn.
That sounds like the beginning of a 4-hour cruise right there. We're going to end up on an island.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
But about cigars for a second. But my
Yeah, let's
first
get this out of the
initial
way.
reaction of smelling the foot, deep smelling the foot, I got no ammonia at all. Did you guys get any?
no,
No,
I got
it's real mild.
Yeah,
real
real
it's
mild.
pretty mild. And a little hay maybe, but not
Yeah.
a whole lot.
Mine started with a little crack. Mine had a little bit of pepper to it. Not crack, not Oak Cliff. Shit. Like cracked pepper.
We don't do crack in Oak Cliff.
Look,
We do-
we've been to different Oak Cliffs.
We do pills.
Oh, okay. You do pills.
We gone up here. We're up here now.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Gentrification changed everything.
Hey, we ain't gonna be on Oak Cliff all night.
No.
Hey, we got situations.
We can't afford it.
We have situations going on.
Which one?
What's her name? Shakara Richardson, Shinobi. I don't know what her first name is.
Oh, the track girl that got all stoned?
She just got suspended today from the whole Olympics.
But
She's
So-
from Oak Cliff.
oh, she is.
Yes.
Oh, now I'm upset. Right? I mean, look. I'm just gonna say this the way it is. Cuts had the best quote out of all of it. that
Cuts
I've
the
seen.
motto?
Cuts the motto. He
Uh-oh.
put it up. He
Uh-oh.
says, "You can't. Female athletes in the Olympics can't smoke weed, but they can have a
Yeah.
dang dong."
Yeah.
Right?
I saw one. that
You
was
could be a
like
man,
that,
you
where
just can't-
where you can't smoke pot, but you can take estrogen. You can be a man, take estrogen for a year, and compete as a woman, but you can't smoke pot.
What the hell is happening now?
2021. It's your generation. Fucked up this generation.
No, we were doing just fine.
We did
I blame the parents that
No.
were. I blame the hippies from the '70s that are now raising
Social
these
media.
kids.
Yeah, we didn't
Hippies
have
kids.
that shit.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Frank is speaking of Colorado. Frank is his wife Sam is newly hooked on Coors Banquet, the OG Coors,
What?
My favorite beer.
I-
The Yellow Belly.
the
She's-
Yellow Belly baby.
That's good shit.
That's good shit.
Hell
great
yeah, I like Coors Yellow Belly.
Yeah.
Cheers to you, man.
My dad.
Yeah, here's to you. Cheers.
I-
Grandpa used to go head to freaking to Colorado from Nebraska, and then they would just drive all night and fill up the back of the Suburban and drive all the way back.
I
to
don't
Coors.
doubt it, even
Yeah.
in the slightest. And he used to tell me to put a lime in it because it makes everything taste expensive.
Right.
And I have in I swear, in my garage fridge,
Not
I've got a case of Coors Original for you. So feel free to
Yes,
go
sir.
get that.
That's good shit right there.
What's in the glass? That's a question Kevin Phillips is asking. What are you sipping on?
Looks like you guys are all dehydrated as hell. Your urine samples are very yellow.
Balvenie, Scotch.
A little Balvenie.
I got some Colonel in here. Some Colonel.
Colonel.
I got Old Forester.
Old Forester. I got Diet Dr. Pepper.
Oh man, that's that real shit right there.
I'm not going with the regular
shit right
sugar
there.
stuff. I'm going
You don't mess around.
saccharin.
Yeah, man.
I'm getting cancer.
Jim Drader's actually trying to upload a file here, which I would imagine he thinks we're on some sort of Russian intelligence live stream right now.
He's probably showing a picture of Chip Davis of Mannheim Steamroller receiving the award for the first rap
That
song.
dude was-
So that dude had soul. I'm telling you. Listen to this. The dude wore wolves. What was the deal? Will you tell about that?
God, he's gonna kill me. He has this Indian. He's an artist. So he has this. The Omaha Indian tribe gave him a headdress that was a wolf's head and all this other stuff. So one day I had to go up, get some stuff signed by him. I get up into the basement and he's just standing there in his boxers and he's got the thing on. So I'm like, "Hey Chip, how you doing?" He goes, "You can't see me." "No, you're right there." He goes, "No, you can't see me." I said, "Okay." And he's like, "This headdress makes me invisible."
He's an adult. This guy pays taxes.
This is in the morning.
This is in the
Because I've seen him after a couple of wines,
that
and
needs to be worn at the Halloween party.
the
That.
the wolf hat.
You should have seen his
box-
Halloween parties.
Next level.
They were. I think he actually hired ghosts. He would take people on hayrack rides on this.
He had
hill
100 acres. 90 of it was dense woods. With speakers throughout the woods.
He had people hired to run through the woods and scare people on the hayrack rides. 6-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible guy.
Yeah.
Made good music though.
Good retro
I
hail.
mean, he's a rapper.
Good so far.
Good retro hail on this.
The one thing it doesn't have that I enjoy is it doesn't have a lot of pepper.
Mm-hmm.
I get a little just residual white pepper there, but it's not hitting it really
More
hard.
like cinnamon.
What's
the way
the
that.
difference?
It'd be more like like cinnamon spice versus there's black pepper. White pepper has its own, not as intense flavor. But yeah, I think cinnamon makes sense. It just kind of dried cinnamon, not part of a cinnabon.
We have Chris Coulter coming in saying, "G'day, Franks, NICC." That's
Well, if we find the guy that put the N in that, we're gonna have a shot.
G'day, Chris Coulter.
God damn.
Oh,
God damn.
That's pretty good, right?
that's pretty good.
happening.
God,
That happened pretty
equal
quick.
opportunity. There you go. Chris came back, so pronounce it correctly.
Coulter.
Damn.
Coulter. Hardly knew her.
Came in hard.
All right, so you were in Colorado. You told me something really unique because before you went to the mountains, I said, be careful what cigars you bring because I had terrible experiences up at altitude or at elevation with cigars that they just ruined it for me.
Yeah, so I'd heard that from you and a couple other people where the milder stuff, medium mild stuff sort of falls flat when you go to the altitude. So the cigars that I took were not that. I specifically went to the top of my palate range, and that's where I started picking cigars. So Bull and Bear, Aladino, Reserva Corojo, some Osaka stuff, Superfly, some stuff like that.
All sitting up top.
Right.
And everything that I smoked it tasted fine. So I was in a shop up there and I asked the guy that. I was like, "So this is what I've heard, And he's like, "Well, what you should do is they just need to acclimate in altitude.
Right,
so if
right.
you bring a mild cigar, any cigar, they should acclimate for a period of time at the altitude. So it's not just about humidity; it's also about the altitude. And so when you're traveling, I guess you don't have that luxury to let them sit.
Right.
So
I wonder how long he's suggesting they sit.
he said that he lets anything they get sit 2 weeks before they even put it on the
Okay.
on the shelf. So
you got that.
That's a good
if you're
retail.
going to altitude,
Nobody gonna be in Denver that long.
then maybe you just pick something that sits at the top of your palate range, or something that's a little more full body.
Yeah.
If you want to smoke it right away, or something that's got a ton of flavor, like
Right.
a flavor bomb, like an 1880, or
Right.
something like that. But
Right.
Well,
I don't know, if,
I just
truth to that, but it sounded good.
Yeah, it
I mean,
makes sense.
from just kind of
So
taking
you're only getting
information
white
from
pepper
everybody
from
and
this?
forming my own opinion and going with it.
Yeah, I've got a little.
So I just started retrohaling because I wasn't retro the first couple times,
Yeah.
but just retrohaled that time.
Yeah.
But man, it was like a jolt of dark chocolate, just
Really?
right down the middle.
That's what they call
Just
me on the street.
boom.
Dark chocolate. Yeah.
Everything goes back to
Hey, it's
that-
good
Bittersweet
It's
chocolate.
good for you. Juice free. No. Back to the cigar.
So how's the burn for you guys? The ash is pretty white. Typically, I guess there is a Cigar 101 element to this. But if the ash is white, that illustrates that it's
Highly
what
fermented.
it's what Edgar would call 100% fermented tobacco. It's got some age on it.
You're not
But I'm not getting
pepper from this.
What are you getting?
Getting pepper? Where are you getting pepper on your palate? Is it on the sides or on the top?
No, it's on the upper
on
palate.
the roof.
And then on the sides here. But I'm like,
Yeah, I can definitely feel it on the roof when I pay
Yeah.
attention to it. It hops on and kind of,
Yeah.
and then when you let it go, it will,
and then
it
it
will
goes down
dissipate
the
it.
sides. It's like,
So
okay.
try a really slow pull, because the first couple of times I pulled it and got heat. But when I do a much slower pull, I'm getting a little bit more citrus.
Yeah,
It just doesn't tell too much of a story to me.
it's one noted.
It's one noted. It seems like
one
they're
noted.
using good tobacco for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
but it's one
But
noted.
what's interesting, maybe you can answer the question if you want to, but what kind of wrapper do you guys think this is?
Coolio.
Coolio.
Corojo?
I don't know what.
When
this
I tell
is.
you the wrapper, it'll make sense to you.
Really? Colorado Habano?
No. Sumatra.
Ooh.
Sumatra typically doesn't have a lot of spice, but typically has that little tingly citrus note. It's almost like Cameroon with the Aladino, but the Cameroon delivers more pepper.
Well, just think of Mil Diaz or think of Sumatra.
Yep.
It's got that.
Yep.
And that's surprising to me. You'd think Sumatra would have tons of spice.
Why do
I
why do
need
you think
education right now.
Is that just
Because
of
I
the way
would
it
think.
sounds?
No, Sumatra is like Asian, African. I mean, it's where spices are like gold and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think if somebody told me being a newbie it's got Sumatra in it, I'd be like, oh shit, that's gonna be spicy.
So then if you're right, and the same thing with Cameroon, those African and European, well, aside from like
Because Cameroon
Asian
is
stuff,
African, yeah.
when they take that varietal and then they take it over to the modern processing
Yeah.
to Nicaragua, to Honduras, to all of those different areas, then it changes overall. Soil is king,
Right.
in tobacco, right? So that's why it took them so long to make that Cameroon on that Aladino. It took them 14 years to make that to be anywhere. So you're exactly right. I think
It's
you're,
just like when I hear San Andreas. I think before I even smoke it that this is gonna be spicy and peppery.
But what's interesting,
Sweet.
I think sweeter.
I think sweet.
I think sweet
For
and
San
earthy.
Andreas?
Sweet and earthy.
Okay.
this,
I know that.
you'll notice, like there's not a lot of smoke that's coming off of this. The burn line's perfect. But there's not a lot of smoke that's coming off of this. And last week we smoked a cigar that was very oily, and the blue smoke was just running up the cigar. So you can tell just by the fact that there's literally no smoke coming off of this. There's not a lot of oil in that wrapper, and there's not a lot of oil in the binder or
That's
the
a great
filler
idea.
that you're getting that, because you would get it in a sense an oil fire.
Mhm.
You know, it stays hot, stays running hot. But like this, unless I'm just smoking it cooler than you guys are, but it dissipates pretty quick.
So does that contribute? So I don't get a whole lot of movement so far out of this thing.
No.
I mean, it's
it's the same cigar.
It's consistent, and
It's single note.
But I wonder if the oils might.
No, I think it's the blender. And I think the difference is Pops really don't like this cigar. So I think that's what's happening is the blender. This tells me the difference between, let's say, Ace Prime, who's using Sumatra,
Right.
who does Mil Diaz, who does Crown Head
Right.
stuff, and you get that depth to it.
Yeah.
That's Edgar mentioned it to us as well. The quality of, Darren told us, depth and change comes from the blend. Performance comes from the tobacco and the production.
Right.
But depth in that evolution is from the blender.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I've smoked this one time before. Just get into the second, third, and then see if it makes a change. The first one that I smoked seemed a little front loaded with a little bit more either Ligero, they doubled it up or something, but I had a little bit of punch in that first quarter inch, and then it tamed down. I'm noticing that a lot. We just smoked a cigar recently that was really, really heavily front loaded.
Right.
Are you saying the CLE one?
That one was really front loaded.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It was like
It
firing
ta-
up.
it-
It was like a jalapeno.
It ultimately tamed down. I'll tell you the other one was the Bocock brothers let us try a couple of Nicaraguan cigars that they were thinking about bringing to market. And when we have guys like Ted and Nathan breaking out in a sweat, that's not a good sign.
Well, that's not it.
That's not a
We
good
got
sign.
Robert Criswell joining us. We've got Rob Goodwin joining us. What did you miss? Well, you missed. We did settle on who the first rapper was.
Africa Bababa.
That wasn't.
That was not it.
So we haven't settled on who the first rapper is.
I will.
And we're smoking a
That's
cigar
pretty.
evaluated.
That is a pretty. From a construction standpoint, I think the draw is good. I would give the draw a really high score.
Agreed.
I would give the burn construction pretty high score.
It's not squishy, or I mean, it feels.
That's I've noticed that a lot. I smoked I shouldn't say this, but I smoked a protocol at the house tonight. It's shocking to me that Espinosa lets protocol put the Lazona label, his factory label on that box, because you smoke an Espinosa and you smoke a protocol, and you can literally squeeze that entire. There's pockets where you can squeeze that cigar. So I don't know if Espinosa, if those guys just said, make me a cigar and hit this price point, and that means no QC, it means make them faster,
New
whatever.
rolls,
But the
Because
thing
you just
is,
got to have your frickin' foot on those guys' throats.
we've smoked that cigar on multiple occasions, years apart.
I let this thing sit since the last IPCPR.
But how
The
do
last
you
PCA.
How do you possibly get a box of cigars in that you can squeeze finger to finger and not go, we got a problem here? How do you not go back to the factory and go, hey guys, this isn't okay? When you can turn it into look like a candy cane,
Yeah.
that ain't all right.
Yeah, Andrew took up the Lancero and bent it and faced the ember towards him, and it didn't break.
It didn't break.
There was that under film.
And Frank will say, Frank will tell you, we did the same thing at the house. That was not an anomaly. That was, I think, 3 of us that were there.
Man.
We got Nathan Allen coming in, about to hit the patio. What's everyone smoking?
Nathan Allen, give me some furniture.
That's easy.
Hey,
They don't have any wood either, so they can make
I'm
yours.
here all week. I'm here all week.
That's a damn shame. Shit, now we're not going to have anybody show up.
101, which has turned into just us getting together and really connecting and having a good time. If you have questions, fire them through and we'll chew on them. But so far, we're all trying to figure out what we're smoking that these guys are. What are you picking up, Rogers?
I pick up like a little bit of like a dark cherry almost. Which, I mean, maybe dark chocolate, but a darker, more of a bitter cherry than a sweet cherry.
Bitter chocolate.
Yeah,
Bitter chocolate. Bitter.
yep. Unsweetened,
Yeah.
dark chocolate.
Yes.
But in a good way. It's not like
Now what I would say is, like if we and threw a blanket over them with like a Crux Epicure, the Crux Epicure. There's going to be 95% of the people are going to, under that blanket's going to go, this is okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we saw the whole reason that the Bocock brothers were going to come out with these Kicky and the Nuts cigars, which I told them the market just goes from this to this when you do that. But they wanted to get into this strength rat race, which I don't think anybody wins. Because I think notoriously, the guy that's looking for a punch in the face, his palate is so cooked that he wants a 7x70 JFR that is $8.99. Yeah. So you can't come out with a, I think Saka with Dunbarton has been the only guy that successfully pulled off $15, $18 strong cigars. But if a guy's like, we've given this advice to definition cigars, make a cigar that's universally acceptable. The guy that's new can smoke it. The guy that's been smoking for a while would stick it in their rotation. Again, as long as we're not smoking a $10 cigar and the guy thinks that it's worth $25. That's where there's some guys that get disconnected that way too.
As not a full-bodied cigar smoker, generally, I mean, I dabble and push my palate from time to time.
Yeah, you and me are the same.
That's not how I live, daily. I tend to enjoy cigars. So that punch at the beginning, I'm not just a huge fan of that. There's two cigars that don't do that. They build the opposite. They start and they build as you smoke it. It's the Regis and the Cochon. Those are two cigars that I really enjoy that start,
they suck you in.
Medium body. Yeah, but as you smoke it, it gets more complex and the flavors kind of change and build as you smoke the thing, not the opposite, where boom, and then it sort of mellows out. And those are the ones that I really enjoy.
Couldn't agree more. You know what else does that is the Grand Habano Zulu. It's the Connecticut. The Connecticut is really good, like marshmallow in the front. Really, really, the texture is unique, and it smells like milk chocolate. And by the time you get to the end, it's a Connecticut, and you kind of look at it and go, "That's a Connecticut." It gets really wide. It gets really, really robust at the bottom.
Is that one of their holiday packs?
What
don't get them on that.
Mother's Day, Father's Day, Dad's birthday.
There we go.
It was not in that one.
Exclusive packs that they only make all year round.
Oh my God!
It was not that one, but it is actually George. The owner of Grand Habano, his name's George. That's his personal blend.
It's
the Zulu.
Fantastic.
We'll bring some. Like if this is a 5, then I think the Zulu is a 6. It's definitely got a little bit more legs to it, but it's not a super aggressive.
No, and that cigar took off. That took legs unsolicited. We went through a couple 4 boxes in a couple days.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it was, and no one.
And
was
the guy that actually kind of convinced me to bring it in was just. Of it, but I don't know what it is. So I told him what it was, and he's like, if I can get some more. He's a North Texas guy. So I said, I sent him a note and let him know that I brought him in, and now he's going to come in and find out that they're all
gone. No, they're great. That's an everyday kind of.
Nathan here has nailed it. The Cochon has ruined every other cigar. The Cochon and an Atabey are my 2 desert island cigars.
Yes.
I can smoke them every day, all day. Don't get sick of it.
Yep.
Yes,
I found you can smoke them too. Your palate changes, what you've had to eat. But you can smoke that one no matter what you've had to eat or what.
So
at some point you'll hit the spot where it's perfect.
How does this pair with your guys' spirits? Does it
to me?
Does it play along okay, or
it steps on what I'm drinking?
Does it?
This one's got enough of that spice. I'm not going to say peppery because it's difficult to say that, but it has enough spice. To me, this is like a cinnamon, candy of some sort, like a Red Hot. What stays on my palate right now is like I just got done eating a Red Hot. For me personally.
I can see that. Because it's one noted.
So
when I drink this,
might be good with coffee.
all I'm tasting is this right now.
That.
Oh,
that
and
could
that's
be.
and so
I
that
like coffee. I like coffee with a little creamer.
This is,
in it, so
Colonel
it might be good
Taylor.
with a coffee.
So it's bourbon. You know, I'm tasting it, but it blends well with it.
I noticed that that any resident pepper does hang around a little bit. It does stick around a little
not in an obtrusive way though.
No, I mean, I could see where somebody would stick this into a daily rotation,
And-
because it's not, it's a great, I think it's a great conversation cigar.
Yes. Problem with this cigar is this isn't a beginner cigar. This is a real cigar smoker cigar, but it doesn't have the depth that it would require to get somebody that's in there, because a conversation cigar is the accomplished white label, and you could still give that to a beginner. You couldn't necessarily give this to a beginner unless it was like some. I would put this on like a Mexican palate, right? Someone who likes salsa, who likes that little bit of bite
Like the
to
spice,
it. Yeah, likes the spice.
Yeah,
to
if somebody likes spicy foods, I could see where they would like this.
I think so.
Because it activates the center of your palate more than the sides.
I'll tell you what, though, I will eat my words, because I always said everything that comes out of this factory is the same cigar. I disagree with that. This is a different cigar
I agree.
than what comes out of this factory.
Yeah,
See what this is.
I do agree. I'll tell you what, though, this factory has been around for a long, long time. So
Okay.
now the other thing is, this is the first entree, and it's Sumatra, but there is a Habano on the horizon, a Corojo, either Corojo or a Corojo Maduro, something on there. But I know that there was a couple other wrappers on the horizon. But yeah, I could see where maybe like a tequila drinker, you know, something that's going to sit a little bit more resident on your palate.
That could work. Yeah,
Something
like a
that's a little more
reposado.
cleaner on your palate.
Right,
It's a-
without the residual caramels and
I
stuff.
could do that, and not like an
Yeah.
añejo, not like a new world
Yeah,
tequila.
something
There's
clear.
some with agave, something.
Little pop to it,
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
reposado of some sort.
I can
It could
see
work.
that. I can see that.
It's not bad.
Let's get morning smoke.
I
You'd
think
morning
coffee this.
I'm
thing would
mourning
work.
this because I'm a tabernacle guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah, that's what I like.
yeah.
with
So
coffee.
this is light to me.
Yeah, I mean this. I could eat a Cinnabon with this.
Yeah.
Like a warm Cinnabon with a cappuccino
Oh,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
That-
yeah.
I think this would all work.
Yeah,
Or a
exactly.
little 43 drink.
Oh, a little Carajillo.
Yeah.
Carajillo could work with this too.
Oh yeah.
That overall sweetness it kicks.
This just lights up the center of my tongue.
Yeah,
It does.
It doesn't
Yeah.
do- I got
It's
nothing
leaving
on
the side alone.
But it's not beating me down right now. So
Here's the main things that we look for when and this comes up a lot on the Into Cigar newbies when they're asking the questions is, I want to know how to identify whether there's the certain notes within a cigar. They want to get a little bit deeper. So as a reminder, the front of your palate picks up sugar, and then you pick up sugar, and then salt, and then sour, and then bitter on the back of your throat, and then the center is called umami, which is just a little bit of everything,
Flavor.
which is where the flavor, you're getting that flavor, but it's sugar on the front, which I'm not getting a lot, but I am getting a little bit of sour, what we would pick up as pepper. But the good news is you're not getting a scratchy. I'm not getting a scratchy throat.
I agree.
Which is a sign of young tobacco. That ammonia triggers
Right.
that bitter stage of your back of your palate.
right.
So so you'd have to kind of find something that complements, that kind of sits on that down the middle.
What's up, Sean Rats?
Sean in the house, baby.
But now you guys tell me. But to me, the disadvantage with it streaking down the top of your palate, where you really, it doesn't let the flavors come to life. Would you agree with that? Are you picking up flavors in and of itself, or where do you guys think? I'm still kind of recovering here.
I've been retrohaling this thing the whole time, so I'm getting flavor everywhere. but
when
it's
you retro,
still,
it definitely lights up.
like I'm saying, it's still one noted, which is why I said this is a good early morning smoke. It's not gonna beat.
I've always on the one note, and we refer to them as the one note wonders. As long as the note's good, if it's one note, it's okay. It doesn't. It doesn't show.
To your point, it is good.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad. That's not a. That doesn't mean we're talking about a bad cigar.
Right.
One note just means it's consistently
I
staying.
mean, you have a
same
good
place.
note.
Yeah.
I smoked a 2012 Cohiba Robusto the other night. That's a one note cigar. No, it's very Cuban. It has a lot of hay, but that cigar starts and finishes exactly the same way. You don't know where you're at in the cigar.
What's up, Gary Morris? What's up, Marty Upton? Cheers to all of you. Evening, even.
If you have questions, throw them in here.
Yeah, feel free. We're just kind of running through. I was expecting to speak more about Sasquatch, but this is actually a pretty good first group.
Speaking of that,
Brothers don't mess with Sasquatch though.
there's a lot.
What'd you say?
Brothers don't mess with Sasquatch though. We don't mess with him.
You know what? That's a good point. I never see him.
Apparently
I've never
nobody
seen one
does.
brother.
Have you seen one brother on those Sasquatch commercials?
Hey, what's that?
If I get shot at in the dark.
Hey, what's the brothers that go out ghost hunting? Because there's like 3 of them that go ghost hunting, and every time they hear a sound, they fucking go running out the front door.
You goddamn right.
That still lasts 4 minutes.
We out, dog. We out.
Were you going to tell us about your time in Colorado?
There's tons of Sasquatch stuff. Up
Oh
there.
my God.
Shirts and stickers.
Oh
and
my God.
Spent some time in Colorado.
Oh man.
Oh,
Seems
man.
to be Sasquatch country up there.
They smoke
Yep.
a lot of weed.
Bike country.
Now it could be that everybody smokes pot and
Yeah.
they're friends with Sasquatch. Up there.
No, I'm telling you, I think aliens. What's up, Rodney? You really got into
Aliens
this
are real, dog.
No,
So dope a lot.
I've got a dear friend of mine.
They're real.
Also, fellow
They're
big.
real.
He's a big pot smoker. He's in Colorado, and him and all of his family swears that they went camping and they all saw aliens. Two lights going around and flying
You
around.
just
That
can't
one is
trust anything they say.
right.
They're real, dog.
Because there's always an asterisk
You-
next to it.
They're
Right,
real.
right.
Whenever they say something, there's an asterisk.
Yeah, it's like dark camping at night, higher than bejesus.
Yeah, stone.
They're real, dog.
Aliens?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Probability shows that aliens
Hey
are
man, I got
here.
toilet paper, paper towels, water, everything in my garage.
Just in case the aliens?
Fuck yeah.
Oh, you need more than water.
No, I'm trying to get one of them generators because I might need that.
Oh, yeah.
So you say the brothers will take off. They see scat when they see a couple of gray aliens walking up the driveway.
Shit.
They're gonna shoot their ass. They're gonna take off running.
Hey man, they got to see what they talking about first.
They just know Sasquatch is gonna throw shit.
Hey man, we cool?
Yeah, I've seen Mars attacks. It doesn't work out well.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh damn.
Rob, here we go.
And Rodney Smith has left the building.
Oh no.
Rodney.
What's up, Rod?
I'll tell you what. You get Rodney and get a couple of cappuccino, flapalapa ding dongs, and that dude,
Damn.
he gets
Billy.
real deep.
Is he in the alien shit?
I don't know if he's into aliens, but he is a deep, complex mind.
Oh yeah.
Had a retro hill yet?
He doesn't know how to retrohale.
However, if it makes
which might mean, because you know what, they haven't proven aliens can't retrohale.
Oh, no.
So
no.
I think Rodney's an alien.
Rodney's in. Rodney's still here. Good. All right. So I didn't want to make him feel worse, but I will because we had a dude that's sitting up front, Chris, first time in the lounge, first cigar ever.
You told me.
First cigar ever.
Yeah.
He fires this up. One of the last 14 lob there.
Yeah.
Sexy.
And I pull it up, I toast it, I give it to him. Usually when it's their first time, I just said low, long, and slow. He puffs on it perfectly, takes it, retrohales it. First drag of a cigar ever, retrohales.
I
Is he
nothing.
a cigarette smoker?
I'm
previously?
thinking he's probably a dope smoker.
I had a lady.
Boom.
I had a lady come in, very nice lady, lit up her cigar for her. It was her first one. She's like watching me like I'm operating on an alien, and I get the thing lit and give it to her. She takes a pull, takes his draw, and then just retrohales the whole thing. And I go,
What?
"Oh, you're a pro." She goes, "Not at this, but I'm a pro." All right, I understand.
Whoa.
I understand.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think going back, I've asked this once, and it's
Rodney said he tried to get last night and he couldn't do it. Could you picture what he's like? He's at home by himself, right?
Yeah.
And he's just like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm doing it this time. I'm doing it this time. You know, sometimes you feel sick. Sometimes you feel sick and you gotta pull the trigger, make yourself throw up. And I kind of walking in the bathroom like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. 20 minutes later, I still haven't made myself throw up. That's what I picture. I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it.
He looks like a 4-year-old kid that just doesn't want to dive in the swimming pool.
He's like, yeah, really.
Just dive and just
go.
put your hands
Go.
together and jump in.
His wife comes out. Hey, what you doing? I'm working here.
I'm retrohanding.
I'm working
Nothing
on
but
it.
love. Nothing but love.
My man.
Rodney, just get you a Connecticut, and then really.
He smokes Atabase. He can
Try to work
retrohale the
on
whole
it.
damn
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
So it doesn't
Oh, man. He should be
blow
good.
your face
Yeah.
up. But
Yeah. What's the opposite of a deviated septum? Because maybe that's what he has. It just like puts it straight
Well.
back into his lungs.
Well, I can say.
I
I can say some things, but is it X-rated?
Yeah.
Puss.
the retrohale does sort of bring the back of my tongue to life when you retrohale.
It does.
This thing, the retro on this is alive though. For me,
This gets thick.
But you got to bring it in slow. I'm deeper into the cigar, but we do. I mean, when we rank a cigar, when we rate a cigar, about 50% of the value that I give a cigar is construction.
Oh, that's
Draw is good. I've got 1.5 inch ash. It finally shook off, but
Right.
it's construction. I'm pleased with the construction.
agreed.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good, baby.
What's up, everybody? Glad everyone can join us. We've got our Tuesdays. It's still called Cigars 101 because we don't have another name for this. This is kind of 101, but
More about we got deep. We were talking about being a dad and everything else last week.
yeah, last week was
Fun,
great.
but-
Yeah, this is just more turning into a little cigar podcast.
Yeah,
Right,
just
right.
Anything.
but I think this. So for those of you that are just joining us, we have 4 cigars, same cigars. We're all smoking them. I peeled the labels off. Brandon and I know who it is and what the manufacturer is, and so based on you guys like Cochan Valance, which is Dominican. You guys like Crux, which is Nicaraguan. You like Tabernacle, which is Nicaraguan. Where do you kind of sense the? If you like Cavalier, which is Honduras. If you like the Bocock Brothers, that was Honduras as well. Where do you guys think that this?
This is right in the middle for me.
Where do you think it
On
could?
my spectrum, you have the Connecticut's, Atabays, delicious cigar, but they're milder. This right here is right in the middle because you know what I like.
Yeah, you like the Jericho Hill,
baby.
You like Jericho Hill.
Yeah.
You like La Dueña.
Yeah.
You like some of those cigars that are actually
I like
a little
it.
bit heavier pepper.
I want that Mike Tyson shit.
This one-
Punch me in the face.
So sometimes it's hard when I have one of Dominican, one Nicaraguan, and you smoke them at the same time. I do that at home sometimes.
Yeah.
It's night and day difference.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
when I'm not doing that,
Right.
I think it's Dominican.
See, I know where the factory is, but I would, based on the retro hail, I would not get this right. Because it's fuller through the retro.
Yeah.
Because you really experience that. My eyes are still like a little bit watery from the
Because
retro.
whereas Jake Wyatt, which is Dominican,
Yeah.
you can retrohale that whole cigar.
First draw with the Jake White, you can go straight out, and especially the lithium. Try the lithium. They actually blended the lithium specifically to retrohale from the first draw
Oh, man.
to the
And
last.
and what's interesting is when you take a pull in and it hits your palate, your brain goes, now this is a 6 or 7. I'm not going to retrohale this. Your mind kind of says this is going to burn, but when you just push through it, all of a sudden you retro it, and it's like, hold it, you could retrohale this before you retrohale
It
a
makes
weak
it-
Cuban.
Makes it so much more enjoyable
It
too,
does.
because you get to experience everything at the same time. You get the flavor that rolls in, and then you have the confidence to retrohale the whole thing.
Right.
So this is kind of the opposite.
The opposite.
It comes in. To me. It comes in now. It's turned up, and it's not one note anymore. As I'm getting to the end, and it's starting to heat up. But it comes in milder than it leaves. Brandon just retro.
I mean, the retro's been alive the entire. But I do agree. I think there is a slight amount of change that's occurring. There might be a couple layers that are stacked on top of it. But why I like it is it continues to hop on your palate as it grows. It hops on that top and it hogs it up. But then I feel like it's laying down on my palate different.
Right.
I don't know if it's the same.
I'm not getting hot spots. I've smoked some cigars that are kind of the opposite of what I would call balanced. A balanced cigar is one that comes in and entertains the whole palate. I've had some where it literally just feels like there's a quarter sitting on my palate, and that's all that's getting ignited.
Right. This is good though. Like I said, morning though. Early day.
So much different than this.
Yeah.
This is got a heat stay with all that age on it.
Oh yeah. And that's Nicaraguan too. But Illusione is the definition of complexity.
Yes, sir.
That's the element
Yes,
to it.
sir.
And that's what I enjoy is he doesn't, the way that this, for instance, comes in, even on the relight, right? The way it comes in, it just lays down nice. This one kind of centers up and then folds out. And
I will say,
I don't want to smoke another one of these. I could smoke one, if I was just going to smoke a cigar and I was going to move
it's
on.
not sessionable for you.
This is not sessionable. For me, I'm not feeling like after this, oh yeah, I want to smoke another cigar. This is a different thing. Now this has a couple years of age that has been sitting in our humidor. That's a whole different element. But this to me goes, yeah, I got my cigar in.
Well, and I think the blend, when you take Dion, who owns Illusione, 20 years of working with the best blenders, blending for an American palate, blending, he's in Reno, but blending, he has a lot of experience where this is really somebody that's new to the space. And
you can tell.
And in time, because think about it, we go down to Nicaragua. I remember the first cigars that we smoked where at that place we got to roll cigars, and they gave us some cigars, and I remember coming home with them thinking, man, this is it. I remember calling that factory, and they're like, yeah, we can get you all you need for about 80 cents. Like 80 cents? Damn.
Okay.
But I bet you if we smoked that today,
oh yeah,
we would just.
Mine,
but we were.
Mine is still in your.
I wasn't from an educated perspective. We were in first grade.
And in all honesty, you get the allure of doing the blend the first time. They cater to you, and I would fall trap to that, where I would go, oh yeah, this is the greatest thing ever. I still have my cigar that I rolled, that is in your humidor. We should smoke that and see what it's like. Because once you get hopped into it, you go through and you see the value, you fall in love with it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And once you've blended 1,000 cigars, 100 cigars maybe, you go, no, this didn't do it.
How much? This is a question for all you guys. How much is your enjoyment of the cigar tied to your connection with the manufacturer?
Oh,
I mean, and I think that goes to your mindset towards a cigar. There's certain cigars that I started out with that when we first opened, I won't name names, but Brandon knows who it is, that I thought they just walked on water. And as time has gone on,
Once they thought
my
they walked on
attitude towards the vendor has changed.
So Bobby,
And my attitude towards the cigar has changed. And so I wonder how much is mindset.
I bet a lot.
it contributes for sure.
How you think about Darren's stuff always works here, but everybody knows Darren. Edgar's stuff works here because they know Edgar. Right. Oliver's stuff works here because they know Oliver.
Right.
I wonder how much of that comes into play.
here is probably different because
So knowing so when you guys, so a lot of people in shops do the cut and light and the rec comes in, and whatever. But when you have if you can get him to talk about it or catch him one-on-one and talk about his vision or how he came
His
up
passion.
with it, even how he got into cigars and his goal or whatever. It enhances the experience,
Right.
and we all go back to smoking
Right.
cigars and experience.
Right.
Makes the experience way better.
Right.
This so I can I tell the
Yeah,
backstory?
please.
So the one thing that I found was very interesting with this manufacturer, or with this person that is launching this line, is a person that loves cigars, been smoking cigars for 15 years, loves cigars, so much so that a friend that actually lived in Alaska gave him some seeds from Cuba. And he started growing them in his garage.
Yeah.
And he's like,
I heard this.
God damn, the plant's like 6 feet tall. I'm like, yeah. So he cut the leaves off and let it dry and then tried to smoke it, and not a good experience. So he went to a cigar festival and started talking to a couple of different manufacturers. And he started asking them questions about drying and aging and fermenting and all that stuff. And they explained to him, oh, you didn't get through several steps. Here's what you need to do.
Right.
So he went back and did that in his garage. So as he started to explain this, I started laughing because I said, at what point did you realize that when tobacco starts to ferment, it smells like death?
Yeah.
And he goes, oh no, it was worse because my wife parked her car in the garage
Oh shit.
and would smell. If you go at a factory and you walk into the fermentation room, you can't enough. It just smells like death.
Yeah, and you can hear them. They're kind of like, Gringo's coming,
Gringo,
and
yeah.
then everybody just turns and watches.
They
you
just
walk
want to
in.
watch the reaction on their
Ask,
face.
ask Busy the first time you walked in
Oh,
that room.
I'm telling you. So when you have somebody that's so passionate that they start growing shit in their garage, and then realize over time that there's this process, and of course do the right thing, get with a manufacturer that knows what they're doing.
Right.
So, but to me it just tells me it's rooted in a love for cigars, which that I appreciate. And there are guys in this industry that believes that the development of a cigar has made them a star, and that they're always going to know more than you know. But I love it when you get somebody like Jay from Definition that sits in here and goes, watches our evaluation process and goes, man, I learned more about my cigar tonight than I knew ever.
Right.
And he learned from us as we're evaluating the process. But I love it when you got somebody that is coming from a passionate area instead of a guy that's going, I think I could probably make some money in this business.
Right.
Those guys, to me,
Right.
they're not long lived.
Well,
And
where's
say.
Where's McAuliffe?
Where's McAuliffe?
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
Right?
here's a guy that wants to know if he can land his helicopter behind our shop because he really likes it, and he thinks he has 3 Ferraris, but he wasn't sure. And when you got a guy that's now he's buying factories and everything else, but never really sat down and asked a retailer, what do you think of my stuff?
Uh-huh.
And the customer ended up telling us what they thought of it. They smoked it once and never came back.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just, what was the one guy that came in when we first opened? I was selling helicopters, making a bunch of money, and I just thought, well, shit, I like cigars, so I might as well just make some.
Who was the helicopter salesman?
It was a line that came in when we very first opened. They came in and pitched. They actually pitched Nate, and their whole pitch was, I made some money selling helicopters. I thought I'd make cigars. To me, that's the wrong answer.
Right.
Because you're looking at it as a way, I sell 1 million cigars. I make
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's, it's really hard to sell 1 million cigars. Really
Well,
hard.
it's really hard to sell one cigar,
It is.
but it's really hard.
If this is a new person, I will say they're on the right road.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure. And that's one of the things that is, I don't know, tangible, maybe the right word for the definition stuff. Because I smoked all of his stuff. The 919 being the last one I smoked. And you can almost see
You can see him learning.
see the trajectory.
And he and Brandon spend a lot of time together, and I think he's kind of leaned on Brandon to get what do you think of this? What do you think of this blend? He had me try a blend couple weeks ago, and you could tell he's getting better.
He's evolving.
Yeah,
he's evolving, and importantly, because most manufacturers are not the blenders, and he is not the blender, but he works with the blender, so it's just the same thing as art, right, or marketing or whatever. It's how you decipher your end result to the people to help get you where you want to go.
Right.
So he's learning how to say, this is what I want it to do. I want it to dance. I want it to, dissipate. I want it to do these things, and then they go, oh, okay, I know what that means now.
Right.
Versus I want something medium full.
Right.
Well, fuck that.
Yeah,
Okay, toss some Lajero in and call it good.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel that this is the opportunity for us to grow with it. And that's where I think DC is going to continue to succeed, because the next
They're
blend that's
listening.
DC, they listen. They listen.
Look,
just like us, you have to kind of, as much as we sit and talk, you got to shut the fuck up for a little bit and just listen to what your members and customers and manufacturers say. This is the opportunity here.
Yeah, and I think, but I think you're right. I think what you're seeing is, if this is the first step, he's at least on the right path.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And I expect just meeting the personality. I think that the personality of this guy he's not wired for mediocrity. He'll always want to get better. Right. And there are some guys in this industry that we could say, you know what, this cigar falls short, and their response would be, well, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And that's and those guys that doesn't work well here.
They might be right.
They could be.
They might be right. But in our world, it isn't. And it's really interesting because the people who sit with us and sit back here, just like Jamon sat there and I sat here, we talked about this. I'd take no credit of the 919. That is absolutely excellent. The only thing I did was nudge him to say, you need to sell this thing. Those people who sit back here quietly, the people who say you don't know what you're doing, see us where we are now.
Right.
And those people who are going, let's learn this together, let's grow together. See what we look like in 5 years from now. See what we look like in 10 years from now.
Exactly.
Those guys who are saying you don't know what you talk about,
Right.
they're gonna be knocking on the
They
door.
probably tend to be volume people too, I mean, you get into a, online big shop and just push
Let
sticks.
the game come to you.
Yeah, I mean, they're not.
Let the
this isn't
game
to
come
say
to
that they're
you.
bad sticks, but
See, they don't have to work the game anymore because they got the name out there. They can put out some bullshit and sell it. But if you're trying to be something, let the game come to you and be good at what you do. So when people come in here and they say, man, give me a good cigar, boom, here you go.
Principle.
Man, that's a good cigar. The game just came to him from you. And now he's like, they know what they're doing over there.
Yep.
That's the whole thing.
principal stuff's constantly evolving. Almost like
He admits it. He admits that if we run out of tobacco, it's changed. And it may be a Koshan, but it may not be the first Koshan that you tasted.
Right.
But it's never going to get worse.
Right.
He's always going to advance that. He's always going to be.
And that KBF Gold, I mean, that thing's changing within the release, right? So you get one, and 6 months later, you're swinging another, and it's different. But it's evolving. It's
But
not
that's
getting
brilliant.
worse.
The KBF Gold is his. Let's test the market. I think it tastes good. I'm going to throw this KBF Gold label on it, and let's see how people like it. There may have only been 1,000, but it could ultimately turn into the next principle. It can turn into the next aviator.
Better yet, I know I don't have enough tobacco to make this full production, but I enjoy this cigar, and other people enjoy this cigar. So let's just take it. Let's Delma and Louise.
We'll take it as far as we can take it.
Let's just take it off the cliff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then everyone will enjoy it on the way down, and that's the way it is, and we'll reevaluate.
I'm a half inch from burning my fingers on this, and it hasn't gone the wrong way.
No.
A lot of cigars will go the wrong way at the end.
Yeah, it's gotten a little more pepper. I mean, at the end,
Little
obviously,
peppery, but that's heat.
But it's not making me walk away from it
No,
by any means.
and we're an hour in it. We're an hour in on a Robusto, and no one's done yet.
And I can still retrohale it. Usually I would have backed off of a retrohale by now.
But I definitely get more impact on my palate. That's for sure. But you're right. If you can still retrohale at the end of the game, it says a lot.
And where I think this carries the most weight for me right now is I'm the only one that has two cigars fired up. One that I'm in love with, which is this little.
You've always loved the Gardiste.
I've always loved the Gardiste short Robusto, but I have let this sit and I've kept this in hand. It's kept me enticed.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's kept me interested.
Yeah.
There you go.
No one's put it down.
There you go.
I mean, literally, no one's put it down once.
No, I enjoy it.
So should we talk about who it is?
Should we do? Actually, first, what would you guys pay for this cigar?
Oh, I would say sub 10, 8 to 10.
Yeah, that might be around there.
And compare with other $8 to $10 cigars.
All right, so let's welcome to IACC decision making process, right? The Accomplice lives at 6 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have just done a price increase, so
Okay, so 7 to 10.
7 to 10.
So Accomplice sits at 7 to 10. Chasero sits 8 to 10. Jake Wyatt lives 10 to 12.
DC lives in the
DC 10 to 12, somewhere in that ballpark. Patoro lives 8 to plus. Look at the Series P. That's anywhere from 8 to 12. Where do you guys see this fitting?
Like a
Paying
series,
this.
series P Robusto is 10 and some change.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I would give it a bump above the. Man, that's a hard question.
For me, this falls in line with the Chasero.
Yeah,
For me,
I
the
was gonna give it a bump above
The
that.
principal stuff is
Undervalued.
It's way
that's a
undervalued.
cigar killer.
Yeah,
It is.
Because
That cigar
it's-
should be 40-50% higher in cost.
Yeah.
yeah.
We shouldn't say that on.
Yeah, but
No, I mean, but for real.
But Darren he had his first price increase since 2013, so I got to hand it to him because Davidoff and those guys send us
Well, he
notices
makes
of
good
price
stuff.
increases monthly.
It makes good stuff, man.
But principal stuff. I mean, it's a little more complex than this.
Yeah.
Even in the
Oh,
Accomplice.
No,
stuff.
truly. I think
So-
I think the Accomplice
But
is much.
I don't know
more
who this is or who this guy is.
This is
Darren
Daily
is
Smoke.
probably a lot further down the road
Yeah.
Oh,
than this guy.
decades.
Even the.
Yeah. This is a daily
Yeah.
smoker.
But I mean, I'd put this at $8.50, $9 cigar, probably something like that.
Okay. Where do you think?
Probably about that, about 10. Yeah, about 10.
Yeah,
8 to 10.
you're right there.
That's exactly where it is.
850 to a number.
850.
Yeah.
So it sits at 10 retail.
I like
I
the
think
fact
it's gonna
that
be a challenge.
I like the fact that he doesn't believe in big ring gauges, which is a plus because a lot of these guys are going out. They feel they have to have a 60 in their lineup, and he doesn't have anything bigger than 56.
It's a
I would
challenge
like to
for
smoke
us.
this in a little Corona.
It's a challenge in the humidor. I think this could be good small ring gauge. I think it would be better small ring gauge. I don't know the
Well,
blend.
4x44 would be really
This
good.
is small little,
Dog walker.
Morava or something like that, Lonsdale. It's challenging because I would want to give this to somebody that likes a peppery cigar like a Jaime, but it's a smaller ring gauge. It doesn't quite deliver the pepper,
But-
it doesn't quite deliver smooth.
But all the Jaime stuff and the My Father stuff all lives in that $12 plus now. You know,
It fits in a unique segment. I gotta be honest.
and,
It's different.
and it is Sumatra, so it's gonna deliver a little different. So anyway, I think it's construction. This is not. We smoked a lot of cigars that were 8 to 10, and the construction was dog shit.
Agreed. So if you guys were to do this and pass it, would you pass or would you kill?
I'd pass it.
Pass it?
I'd pass it.
How about you?
if the construction and the construction's nice, the burn's nice.
Burns
If
perfect.
that stuff
Assholes.
wasn't there,
I
that might
would.
change my vote a little bit.
I would never smoke this later in the evening.
I feel like I'll taste this tomorrow.
I think in the morning towards the middle of the day, this is great. Because I'm not hammering my palate right now. And I think in the later evening, I want one that's going to set me off for the rest of the night.
Do it. I get like almost what the effect of eucalyptus is. How it's cool, like not as wintergreen as some. I've had a couple cigars, but it has that kind of eucalyptusy coolness.
It does have that.
I don't know. I don't know where I'm at.
Well,
Pretty agnostic. I mean, ultimately, I would give it the pass and then let the market tell it where it
yeah,
needs to
it's
be.
a short line. It's 3 facings.
Yeah, so for me, I'll join you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they play ball.
Oh
If
yeah.
they play ball
Yeah.
and they're willing to run through it.
From a retailer perspective, the thing I appreciate is that if we were to do this, we would be the only guys in DFW with this cigar.
So this cigar is rolled in La Aurora. And
Which is
why
the-
it scares
That's the oldest
me,
factory in the Dominican.
why it scares me is when any profile individual walks into La Aurora and says, I want to start a company, Karl Malone, anyone who played professional sports for
Right.
15 minutes that wants to have their own cigar line, they go to La Aurora.
Yeah.
And La Aurora essentially makes the same cigar for everyone. And that is my hesitation on the line is, am I chasing something where we're going to promote a person versus the product? And will the product work? That's why we're here. I mean, this is what everyone, if you guys have been sitting in here, you're seeing a real true evaluation of what we go through with every single cigar in the humidor.
Yep.
So I don't know all the ins and outs of behind the curtain. You guys go through and bring in a line, but I would say that if somebody's, you guys are big on relationships with these guys, right? If they're willing to put in the time to develop the relationship as a shop owner, I mean, it's give and take, right? It takes two to tango. So, if nobody gives them a shot,
Not like some of the guys that are pitch tent in Florida, and we see them every once in a while, maybe.
it's
So-
local-ish.
Localish. Yeah. Edgar's out of Houston, and we see Edgar quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah. That's so. So let me put it this way. These are the only 4 samples for this line. So essentially, you are sitting in Andrew Nathan's seat right now. In the humidor, are you willing to put your name on it that you passed this
Yes.
for it to be in the humidor?
Yes, I would.
Yeah.
Then that's
I'd
a
buy
bad
it.
deal.
Nate probably.
It's too mild for
Yeah, I
Nate.
don't know if Nate would really love it, but he sits up
He's
higher
definitely
up a tree
full of
there
it.
than
But
So
it has a
might be a
place.
good golf course cigar.
Yeah, it has a place
yeah.
in the early morning time between what? Y'all open at 10?
Yeah.
10 to
First
like
stick of the
3 or
day.
4?
Yeah, with some coffee.
10 to like
Yeah.
3 or 4 with a coffee?
I'd like
Yeah.
to try it with a cup of coffee.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, then
Yeah.
you two, in the history of our shop, have been the only other 2 people who have ever been a part of this process. You didn't know what you were walking into,
No,
but
we
Not
you
really?
you have selected the next line
Oh, man.
of cigars that will eventually live in ICC, whether it be one order, whether it be a principle.
Right.
But you guys have been part of the process to bring in who is Arrival Cigars.
Yeah. So the cigar is called Arrival. It's by Ken Hamlin.
Tim Hammond.
Ken has the one thing that we were concerned about, because we've seen how Carl Malone operates, you saw it yourself.
Right.
Carl doesn't operate, he just sits in a chair and goes, look, I'm Carl Malone. And his card is basketball, and you know, and he's running on that. Ken played for the Cowboys, he also played for Seattle, 8 or 9 years in the league. But the thing that I appreciated the most, and one of the things that Brandon and I, as we started talking and the boys about the vetting process, is our concern was that he was hanging his hat on the fact that he played for the Cowboys. I asked him that question point blank, and I loved his response, which was, that was my job for 8 years, just like everybody else has had a job for 8 years. It's what I did, but it's not why I do this.
Right.
So it's not somebody that is wants to sell a cigar because they had some kind of professional connection, professional sports connection. It is because there is it's rooted in passion in cigars.
Right.
And I think it's either going to get worse or it's going to get better. And I think if he listens to people like you that are going to be the guys that buy the cigars, then the cigar has a chance.
And people like us.
Yeah.
Right.
All the way through. I mean, the types of positions that we sit at the table are very important to listen to.
Right. Right.
So I know Rodney's still watching. Rodney, make Ken watch this whole thing, and the next steps will ensue over the coming months. But
I think when the people here get a chance to meet him and will realize that, you know, I asked him why blue and why his cigars come actually in a sub box inside of raw tobacco. So he said, the only thing I'm doing is I did blue to honor the Cowboys, and I created, basically wanted it to look like a bird's nest to honor the Seahawks. And that's my only connection. But it's not Arrival Cigars by Ken Hamlin. You know, because think about Room 101. Matt Booth is bigger than 101. There's guys that lead with their name versus the credentials versus the cigar. We smoke the cigars. We're not smoking them.
yeah,
Right.
well, it's exciting. I mean,
I'm down to burning my fingers, and I'm still with it.
Too.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting. We have 3 different perspectives. You wanted to like the cigars. You had no idea, and I didn't want to like this cigar. And ultimately, we in this cigar.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's growth potential here. It's fun stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Sir. Yes, sir.
I'm officially burning the shit out of my fingers.
Yeah.
So good. It's a good cigar, and I think this is kind of interesting that those that stuck with us get a chance to see this process. It doesn't happen at other shops. What I thought was interesting is when I went to Chicago week before last, I went to a shop that's a TAA shop. This guy's been in the business 20 years, knows everybody very, very well. His number one line is La Aurora. Really encouraged us to look at La Aurora at the show, but he said that the guys that own that factory are really, really good guys. And that was what I got from Ken, is almost like when we had our conversation with Sebastian and how Nestor Plasencia took him in and really guided. And that's kind of the experience that he had, because he talked to Reyes and some others. The Reyes family does Petoro. And these guys really came in and let him walk before he ran too. Because a lot of these factories, when we first looked at getting our first cigars done, we talked to a couple of factories that we sell their other product, and it's 5,000 of each stick, and it's all these minimum requirements in order. You got to pay half of it in advance and all this other stuff, and you're sitting here with one facing and you got 15 grand into it, and you're like, well, what if nobody likes it?
Yeah.
You know, so when you have a factory like Edgar will let us walk before we run. Principal with our house stick, we walk before we run. He's in a good place that he doesn't have somebody jamming 50, 5,000 sticks down his throat.
Yeah, agreed.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's a good stick. Somebody bringing to market a new cigar. I mean, he's
Right.
certainly got something that he can build from.
Exactly.
Yep, agreed. Well, with that, everyone, thank you for taking your time on a Tuesday evening to join us. I hope you enjoyed it. It's you said it, other shops don't do it, but I'm telling you that this process is supremely important, and it's a differentiator for us, and will continue to be.
No doubt about it.
And it's not about the deal.
It's never about the deal. It's because the best deal in the world, usually the best deal in the world indicates that the stuff's not selling, so they're trying to give it away. And, I think that it's never, to us, it's never about the deal. It's about, when I was smoking a cigar, I said, this is a really good $10 cigar. And I was concerned he was going to say, oh shit, I'm at $18. It wasn't that at all. So that I was really pleased with.
Yeah. So with that, give us a share if you haven't already.
This should be also a good cigar to smoke outside.
It does impact your palate a little bit more, particularly at the end.
Yep.
And construction on, the way it would hold on a golf course, because a lot of cigars, I smoked a Dominican cigar the other day. I had to relight it playing golf. It just kept going out.
Yeah.
But this definitely has good construction. So I will give it to that. And you're right, the stuff that we've tasted from La Aurora that was Karl Malone stuff, Fratello stuff was the same way. Just dries your palate out, just not wasn't it.
Well, that's it. Go listen to the first ever rap song by Chip Davis.
Convoy.
No.
Rap was invented in
No,
Omaha,
don't
Nebraska.
do it.
That was that. So
Don't do it.
thank you. We